Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Tamera Leshan and welcome to my channel. So this video is going to be a military life update, and I know I haven't posted in about 3 years. I think my last video was my first year update, and I'm currently on year 4 now. So I know you guys have been wanting an update, and honestly, I'm so sorry that I stopped posting, but life was lifing. I had a lot of stuff going on, good and bad, but we're going to get to that in this video today. So to start off, I did hit 4 years in the Air Force on June 9th, so yay to me. I'm so glad that my first contract is done. So I will get into the whole extending and re-enlistment stuff later on, but I did not re-enlist. I only extended for a year. My contract now ends in June of 2025. So if this is your first time watching me, I am stationed at Creech Air Force Base, but I used to stay on Nellis Air Force Base because Creech Air Force Base doesn't have dorms for airmen. So that was the last time I made a video. I was staying on Nellis Air Force Base and driving to Creech every day, which is about almost an hour drive. So it was so much. To start off, I wanted to talk about my CDCs because I believe I started those a little bit after my 1 year mark. So typically when you get to a base, you start your CDCs within 6 months to a year after you get there. And if you don't know what that is, CDCs are, I think it stands for Career Development Courses. So it's just a course to keep you updated on your job and like have you learn more stuff so you're able to do more things by yourself, basically within your skill level. When I got to my base, I was at a 3 skill level, and then after finishing those courses, I went to a 5 skill level. So a 5 skill level is just that I was able to do more things by myself as far as like work that I do. And also, I don't think I mentioned my job. So my job is aviation resource management. I do have a video on what that is. I'll probably make an updated video, not soon, but I will make one. So if you guys have any questions about my job, just let me know. But my job is basically the admin of, I don't really know how to explain it. I explain it really different every time I try to explain it to someone. So my job is basically data analysis for flyers. So when they go out and fly, they log all their stuff that they do while they're in the plane, and I just keep track of it and make sure they're not going overdue for certain things and that they're actually allowed to do the things that they do in the plane. So that's what my job does. I will make an updated video about it because I never even heard of my job until I got reclassed from 4N, which is aerospace medical. So I did come in as a 4N, and then I failed my last test. It was block 6, I believe. And so I got reclassed from that because I had already failed a previous test before that. So at the moment, I mean, in that moment, it was a little like heartbreaking because I did really want that job. But now that I'm in the job that I have now, I see that like that job was not meant for me as far as like the things I want to do in life, because I never planned on making the Air Force a career. I joined the Air Force because I didn't have anything else to do with my life and I was trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to be. So I felt like the Air Force is a good option to give me time to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and also give me a steady paycheck so that I wasn't living with my mom at the time, because I felt like it was time for me to be an adult. I had just turned 21 and I was not really doing anything. I was working. I did have a job, but I got laid off. And when I got laid off, I didn't like that there was no job security, basically. So that's why I joined the Air Force, for job security. I thought I wanted to go to school at the time, but then I joined and I figured out I actually don't like school. I did go to college before I joined as well, and I didn't like it in that moment, but I thought maybe if I join and I'm going online, that'll be fine. But I was like, nah, I just never got around to it. So yeah, the first thing on my list was CDCs. The second thing was I won Airman of the Quarter. It's an award that they give out every quarter to an airman, basically. So I won that. I don't remember exactly when I won it or why I won it, but I was doing a lot in my squadron as far as like work-wise and acting above my rank, I guess you could say. They always say like you need to act like one above your rank. So I was I'm pretty sure I was an A1C at the time, but I was supposed to be an acting senior airman. So, and now I'm a senior airman, so I'm supposed to be acting as a staff, basically like doing staff things to prepare myself for that position. They always say that. So that's what I was doing basically while I was working there. That squadron, I'm not at that squadron anymore, but I did develop most of my things as far as like how I work and how much I work, I guess, how hard of a worker I am by working in that squadron. So I'm really grateful for the supervisors that I had at the time. And I still talk to them because they're still on the base. We're just not in the same squadron anymore, which kind of sucks. But my third supervisor, she is the best. She really helped me. She taught me everything because when I first got to that squadron, I kind of got there at like an awkward time where people were deployed, people were being moved. So I wasn't being taught the things I was supposed to be taught, and there was not like a plan on how to teach me how to do my job. So I kind of was like figuring stuff out on my own by myself. But when she came back from her deployment, she noticed that, oh, like I didn't know certain things that I should know with the amount of time I was there. Because my first couple months at that squadron, I was doing nothing. I sat there all day on my phone because I didn't know how to do anything. No one was teaching me how to do anything. I would sit on my phone. Sometimes I would go find something to do that I knew I couldn't mess up because I didn't want to do something that I didn't know how to do. So I would go like file papers or print things or something like that. But my first couple months, I was not doing anything and I wasn't being taught anything. So when she had got there and started teaching me things, I was very grateful for that because no one was doing that. So shout out to her because she knows who she is. She probably won't see this video because I don't think she follows me on YouTube, but we'll see. So the next thing is that I got BTZ. So if you don't know what that is, it is below the zone. It is where an E3 or an A1C, same thing, rank grade, you know. So an A1C gets to promote 6 months early to senior airman. So typically, I believe the length of time before you promote to senior airman is 18 months. If it's not right, I'll put it like right here, but I'm pretty sure it's 18 months. So since I signed a 4-year contract, I was not an A1C straight out of basic. So I didn't make A1C until a couple months after being at my duty station. So I technically made senior airman around the same time that some of my counterparts who didn't get below the zone but signed a 6-year contract and were an A1C straight out of tech school. So, or I think it was straight out of basic. Straight out of basic, you get A1C if you sign a 6-year, I believe. But I didn't do that, so I had to go from the bottom to A1C, so I had to wait that time. And I'm still made senior airman around the same time that they did because of that. So if you are trying to figure out if you want to sign a 6-year or 4-year, don't let that whole you promote early get you to sign an extra 2 years, because it's only like an extra $100. I know $100 is $100, but after taxes, it's not $100 anymore. So don't give up another 2 years of your life for that, because I'm not saying getting BTZ is easy, but if you do what you're supposed to do and act, like I was saying, over your rank, like act like you're already a senior airman and do leadership and teamwork things, like you can get it and you won't have to give away another 2 years of your life. So I definitely would recommend thinking about that instead of just signing a 6-year. As far as things I did to get BTZ, my Airman of the Quarter award helped. I volunteered a lot when I first got to Nellis Air Force Base. So I did it out of being voluntold slightly. Like my leadership was telling me to volunteer for things because they were trying to get me awards. I also was trying to get more out of my comfort zone because I'm a very reserved person. So volunteering helped me be more work better with others, I guess you could say. It helped me work better with others and speak up more as far as like when certain things are wrong. So, because I would be afraid to do that sometimes. So volunteering did help with that. I did not do any classes. I know a lot of people say, oh, take some like college classes that will help and show that you're trying to do more in life and things like that. I did not do anything like that. I just volunteered and I did my job very well, and that was it. And somehow I just got BTZ. If you're trying to get BTZ, I would say definitely speak with your supervisor, talk with other people that have got it to see what their packages looks like and the things they did during their term before they got it, so that you can see like what you're working with, because I think each base is different as far as like how they determine who they pick. Because like I said, me personally, I don't feel like I did a lot to get BTZ, but I'm not saying I didn't deserve it. I definitely did deserve it based off the things I was doing at work. Okay, so BTZ. After I got BTZ, I ended up moving out of the dorms on Nellis. So I stayed in the dorms for a little over a year. I got to Nellis in February, and I believe I moved out of the dorms the year after that. It was sometime in the summer. I think it was like around April, May. It was right after I finished my CDCs as well. I literally took my last test, and then I asked my supervisor if she could talk to the first shirt for me to see if I can get out of the dorms, and she did. They sent a letter up and I got out the dorms. So when I moved out of the dorms, I ended up moving in with my boyfriend at the time, and it was only supposed to be a temporary thing. Like I only moved in with him for about like a month or two so I could save some more money and then get an apartment. But in the process of me doing that, my coworker was deploying and he offered for me to stay at his apartment while he was gone so I could watch his cat. Well, I had like put in an application. I was about to sign my lease, but then like the next day I went into work and he was like, oh, can you watch my cat for me? You can stay at my apartment for free, and can you just watch my cat? Because he had a 2-bedroom. So he was like, yeah, it'll be a win-win situation. My cat is good and you get a place to stay and save more money. So I ended up staying at his apartment for 4 months, and then I moved into my own apartment. Now, the moving process, it wasn't bad or anything. Like I said, I got to save a good amount of money. I got furniture. The rent wasn't terrible. I wasn't struggling or anything. But since I had stopped doing TikTok, I did stop having to like get those things done as far as my nails and lashes. And now I do all of it myself. I do my nails myself. I do my lashes myself, my eyebrows. Like I just do everything myself now. Even though I can't afford it, still I would rather not pay that much on maintenance. I just don't think I'm comfortable paying that much on maintenance right now, because I'd rather spend the money on like other things like workout clothes. So yes, I stayed in the dorms for about a year and a couple months. And for people that stay at Creech, I feel like that was a long time. Most of the people that I knew at Creech, they were out of the dorms within 6 months to a year. I didn't know anybody that stayed in the dorms for longer than a year unless it was by choice. And I was trying to get out of the dorms way before that, but my first shirt was telling me he didn't think I could afford it. Even though I went to a moving out the dorms class and I made a budget sheet and showed him how much money I was making from TikTok, he didn't think that it was a good idea for me to move out, because I wanted to live by myself. I don't want roommates. I never have wanted roommates. I live by myself now. I lived by myself when I first moved out the dorms. I'm pretty sure he didn't think that was a good idea, so that's why he didn't let me out of the dorms, because he wanted me to have a roommate. But when I went to him about getting a roommate, so I was like, okay, fine. If you want me to get a roommate, I'll get a roommate. So I found someone. And after that, I was like, you know what? No, like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want a roommate. So I ended up saying, like, never mind. And then we had a temporary first shirt. So when we had the temporary first shirt, that's when I asked my supervisor to go ask him if he can just, like, send the email so I can move out. And he did. That's how I moved out. I feel like the process was so long, but obviously everything happens for a reason. If I was meant to move out before that, then I would have moved out. Okay, so I moved out the dorms. I think like a couple months to a year after that, I did a TDY to Dyess Air Force Base, and that is in Texas. It's kind of near Dallas. I think it's about an hour to 2 hours away. I'm not completely sure. But I went there for a course for my job. It was just a development course where you take a test and things like that. It was for the harm portion of my job because I work in the SARM, and it was pretty fun. I met some good people. It was different to be out of my actual base. After my TDY to Dias Air Force Base, I was just working for a couple months, and then I ended up getting picked to move squadrons. So I was at that squadron from when I joined until last summer. So last July, I believe, is when I had moved to the squadron I'm at now. So yes, I did move squadrons, and at first I did not like it, honestly, because it was different. They do different things in the other squadron I was at. They fly longer, fly more often, a lot more people on the flight. So I was just not used to it and putting all that stuff and keeping track of all those things. So at first I was like, I'm not messing with this. But the people I work with are very nice. I do appreciate all of them. They're great. We don't have any issues working together, and we all care about each other. So I do like that. I think as far as comparing the two squadrons, I do like the fact that I actually knew the air crew at my old squadron. I don't know any of the air crew. Well, I wouldn't say I don't know any of them. I do know some of them when they come to ask questions and things like that. But I don't interact with them as much anymore because of the whole top secret aspect of it. So I don't have a top secret right now. And since I don't, I can't do certain things. And I think that has kind of created like a barrier as far as like me meeting air crew or just meeting people in the squadron in general. If I need to talk to like anybody, since everybody works in a whole different area that is top secret, I have to message them, email them, or ask my supervisor if they can go get them for me. So I don't really like that. Like, I didn't meet my commander until like a couple weeks ago. I've never met him until a couple weeks ago, and I've been at that squadron for over a year. My commander, my old squadron, and my DO, I knew them, I saw them, talked to them on a almost daily basis. So it was just kind of like, I don't really like that aspect of it, is the fact that I don't really know who I'm doing this work for. But I get that there are certain things that I just can't know right now. So, and maybe I don't even want to know, because I don't even know when my clearance is going to be done. So yeah, maybe I don't want to know. We'll see. Next thing, so I tested for staff. I actually recently tested for it again. So this was my second time testing, and the results came out last week. I did not make it this year. I was off by 40 points. I also didn't have a strap this year. Last year I did. So when I tested last year, I was off by 20 points. And this year I was off by 40. So I was looking at the scores. If I would have got the same score I got last year, this year, then I would have made it. But I honestly did not study as much as I probably should have, because I plan on getting out. So I just didn't want to, I wouldn't say waste my time, but I wanted to use my time on other things as far as developing my business more and posting more fitness content, because that's what I actually want to do. So the next thing I want to get into is Air Force Cool. So I ended up getting my personal trainer certification through Air Force Cool. If you don't know what that is, it's where you can get certifications and the Air Force will pay for it. It's kind of like the same thing as TA, but for certifications instead of tuition. So I did that I don't remember when I started it, but I know I passed my test in September. I did have to take my test twice, and I went through National Academy of Sports Medicine. After I passed my test, I think about a couple weeks later, I found out that I was getting deployed. So it wasn't a voluntold thing. I actually volunteered. Someone had fell out for a deployment to somewhere I don't know if I'm allowed to say. So I'm just going to say it was in Europe. So I ended up going to Europe, a place in Europe, and someone had fell out. So they asked me if I wanted to go. And since I only had another year and a half at the time in my contract, I was like, well, maybe I should go because I don't know when I'll have another opportunity to go on a deployment, and I kind of actually do want to see what the Air Force has to offer for me before I completely decide if I want to get out. I ended up getting picked to go, and I was in Europe from December until April. So I left the very beginning of April. And it was a great experience. I think that I did need that little break because I had a lot of things going on at home, and it was just a lot. Like, I was just going through a lot at the time with like breakups and like exes, and um like money wise, and like my apartment, there was so much stuff going on around my apartment complex. I was not really in a safe area at the time, so I kind of needed that excuse to break my lease. And then also it helped me save money because I didn't have to pay rent for the time being. I was getting per diem while I was out there, so I made about almost $20,000 being gone for 4 months to Europe. And I wouldn't say a very nice place, but it was a nice place. Like, it wasn't terrible. The people were nice. I did have one small like racist encounter, but it was only one time. Besides that, everyone was nice. I had a car that I shared with 2 other people. I only worked about like 4 hours a day. Food was paid for. Food wasn't expensive. I was living like what's it called? I wasn't spending as much money as I would have been in the United States. So it was a good break. I enjoyed like seeing a different part of the world and traveling. So it was a great experience. I don't know if it's something I would do again. It depends on where. I don't think I would want to go on another deployment. I don't even think I will be in that long to go on another one. But I did like it. I really liked it. I wish I could have stayed at least 2 more months because of like how peaceful it was. It was nice being away from like everything here. There was like no distractions. I could focus on my fitness stuff, like going to the gym, getting to my weight goals. So yeah, it was amazing. So I definitely would recommend a deployment depending on where. I wouldn't try to go to anywhere that like is a desert because I heard those ones are not so good. But I'm glad I got to go where I went, because I've heard about other ones and heard how they're not so good. So the last thing I'll be talking about is getting out the Air Force. So as I stated earlier, I extended for only a year, so I get out next June. I plan on getting out. I don't know if I'm going to do skill bridge or not yet. I'm still trying to decide. It just depends how much money I am making within the next like 6 months, basically. So I plan on being a personal trainer, possibly at a gym here, or I might just do online training. I don't know if I want to work with in-person people yet because I still am pretty shy. Even though I know what I'm doing, I kind of like second guess myself when it comes to like things like that, because I don't know, I get like, I wouldn't say a lot of hate on TikTok, but there is some people on TikTok that try to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, even though I know what I'm talking about. So it kind of like gets in my head sometimes. But my plan is to get out of the Air Force, unfortunately. So you guys probably won't be seeing much more military content from me, but I do plan on making as many videos as I can while I'm still in. If you guys have any ideas, just let me know. I know I said previously that I could do like interviews of people that don't have my job, so you guys can figure out what their jobs are and like the things they do on a daily basis. So I could do some of that because I do have other military friends and friends of friends that I would say are acquaintances that have different jobs than me. That is an option. I might do a get it ready for a PT test with me, because even though I just took my PT test, I had a waiver, so I have to retake my PT test in like November. So I might do one of those. What else? I'm going to be doing a part 2 to my job. Now that I've been in for a good amount of time, I can tell you more about the job and like what it entails. Even though I already did hit on it, I can now like actually hit on it for real, because at that time I was only working for like about a month. So I was just telling you guys stuff that I had learned like straight out of tech school. But now that I'm actually doing the job, I feel like I can go a little bit more into detail about what my job does. I think that will be all for this video. I hope I covered everything for you guys. And if you have any questions, of course, you can ask in the comments. It can be anything military related, as long as I'm allowed to talk about it. Like, don't try to ask me no crazy stuff about the top secret thing, because I can't talk about any of that. So, but yeah, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. You can comment, you can message me on Instagram. Anything works. I check my DMs. About, I would say every day I check my DMs when I see them. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hoped it helped if you were thinking about joining the Air Force. I definitely think it's a good idea. I probably will do a video about that, about like the pros and cons, and also why I don't plan on staying in, because I feel like mine is more so personal reasons, but also it's partially military reasons. There are certain things I don't like about the military in general. I don't know if I should do a video like that though while I'm in, but we'll see. I will see you guys in my next video, and yeah, bye.